Hello. So, just got done from being in the office. It's a wrinkled shirt of doom. Short sleeves because it's very hot today. The heat wave just won't let up. The heat wave won't just leave. Heat wave, you're not welcome. Okay, you're not welcome. Can we have some rain, please? That would be great. I'd love some rain right now. I hate to be that person, but I honestly would love some rain right now, I'm not gonna lie. That would be fantastic. I feel like it hasn't rained in months. It has rained, but we've had like a pathetic millimeters of rain for the whole month, which is really unusual for us. Where we are, it's coastal, so we generally have like good amount of rain, especially for this time of year. This is normally kind of our last like big rainy season before we get like all the proper sunshine that tends to happen around August, September kind of time. But that's not happened this time. Anyway, I should stop ranting about the weather, which is like the favourite British pastime, and instead show you this. This is what we're working on, and will be working on for a while probably, because I'm not working on this very quickly. Because I'm just so busy at the moment that this is great actually that we're recording these videos together, because this is pretty much my only spinning time at the moment. So I need to mush. I will talk and I will mush, yes. It's not a raise, but I still would like to mush. I would like to mush. Well, right now, I am spinning with a black corriedale because I would like to make a bunch of balls of yarn that are a black and a green bob pole. Now, I already have a single of a green that's on a bobbin over there on a lazy Kate. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get the black corriedale on another bobbin and apply the two together. That would be awfully nice, and then we can have some finished yarn. Some more finished yarn, because I finished the 16 grams of yellow and merino silk blend. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Not my most consistent yarn ever. I mean, look at that. Oh no. Awful. We will survive. I'm sure. I've committed worse crimes in my spinning career, as it were. I've committed worse crimes. Yes, so that is the plan. I am going to spin a black and a green corriedale bobber pole, and it'll be beautiful. And I would love to have a spindle spun jumper, which I think is possible. I think it's possible to do that during Tour de Fleece. It's hard, but it's possible. Possible with 30 minutes a day, but probably not. If I had a bit more time, probably possible. But last year, the whole of last year, I spun 300 grams, almost exactly 300 grams. So this year, in 2026, I would like to beat that. 325 grams? I don't actually know how much I spent this year, but it's not a lot. But that was kind of a similar pattern last year. Last year, I'd say I only really kind of ramped up the spinning about halfway through the year, and it was around about Tour de Fleece, and then I just kept spinning throughout the rest of the year and did hardly any knitting. I kind of don't want to do that. I want to have some balance. I think that would be good. If I just put in a little bit of a window of time for some spinning and just to make a little bit of progress here and there, I think that would be enough to make some real inroads. Yes, especially since I am a better spinner now than I was a year ago. That's a fact. Because a year ago, I barely knew anything. I knew nothing. I certainly couldn't get yarn this consistent. Look at this. Eh? Yeah, see? You could use that as a spirit level. Not literally. But you know, that's not bad. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. It's really not bad. See, I have like good long runs of that, so that's why I'm not worried about the occasional slub, you know? Because generally speaking, nowadays my spinning's pretty consistent. It's harder when I'm recording and talking, definitely. But you know, that's just kind of part of the challenge. I want to be that person like, oh, I can totally spin and talk at the same time, and it's not even a big deal. I'm that person where I can knit and walk and talk and do all these sort of things at the same time because I've been knitting for that length of time that it's just like automatic. But I can't do that with spinning quite yet. I have tried and it didn't go well. I tried taking my spinning on a walk once. That was interesting. Not as disastrous as you might expect. It was somewhat competent. It's like, oh, I can somewhat do this, but it wasn't great. I feel like I'm not that far away from being able to do things like that, but I haven't quite got the knack yet. Not quite got the knack. We're not far off though. We're not far off at all. Speaking of, I have this much left to spin of this particular single. I have way more black corriedale than that, but that amount I feel like is a good amount for this one single and will get me about 40 grams on my finished skein, which I think will be very nice indeed. As I said, I generally, well, I haven't said it in this video, I struggle to spin thick. I can't spin thick to save my life at the moment. I will learn, but today is not that day. So I generally spin fingering weight quite consistently. And what that means is, rather, I should say, I spin kind of like a half fingering weight consistently. So when I do the 2-ply, it becomes fingering weight, or every single time pretty much. It's like I can't actually spin anything else. I have to spin fingering weight. That's what my fingers want to do, which is not the worst place to sit now, is it, in terms of your strange default? It's not a bad default to have. Fingering weight is quite useful. It's a useful weight. So I'm not like mad about it, but it's like one day I will learn how to spin a DK just to give myself a little bit more flexibility in my spinning. That would be fantastic. There's actual bits of fluff sticking to me right now because of how like humid and staticky the air is. This is, again, definitely one of those days that's just like, it kind of like calmed down and it's like, oh, things are better now. And as you can see from the hair that absolutely refuses to behave today, the humidity is insane. My hair just no. It's just got all these bits that just keep like sticking up and stuff, and it's like, oh no, really? You know, there's one bit up here which just won't go away. It's just, the humidity is insane right now. My hair does not like the humidity. But we will survive, yes. So, every single time, so every video, I usually find something to ramble on about. But anytime where I don't have something to ramble on about, because I'm tired or whatever, because there's going to be like a daily thing only during Tour de Fleece, and then the videos will go back to normal, whatever normal is. I find a question on the internet and then I answer it. Yes. And they'll be like average boring questions. And I don't know, maybe that'll be interesting. You can have a nice cup of tea when you're watching spinning and just relax and have a fun time. Fast paced, this is not. Absolutely not. So, question for today is indeed, because last time I ranted about how I don't have a favourite colour and how people should instead ask that, what's your favourite tree? Because that's a much, much more interesting question. So I thought that was a bit of a cop-out now, wasn't it? Because I didn't answer the question. So I thought, okay, this video, I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question of what is your favourite colour? I used to think my favourite colour was blue. And blue's probably, you know, if you ask anyone, they'll probably say blue. Like, statistically, most people's favourite colour is blue. And you can see why, because blue's a beautiful colour of the sky, the sea, all these wonderful things. You know, people have a positive association with blue. Like, blue is seen as a colour that reminds them of cleanliness, and there's all kinds of other associations. And I thought, there's a dog over there. And the reason why it's interesting that there's a dog over there is because that dog is local, and that dog had a bad paw and had one of these booties on his paw for the longest time, and he's walking up and down the street without a booty, and he's like skipping along like this, yeah, like walking perfectly normally. So that's lovely. I just thought I'd share that. But everyone's favourite colour is blue. So I don't really think my favourite colour was blue because my favourite colour was blue. I think I just said that because I kind of felt almost like pressure to answer the question of like, blue, I guess, because blue's nice, you know? But it wasn't really my favourite colour. It wasn't. That was a lie. It was never my favourite colour. That's not what happened. Instead, battery might be a problem. We shall continue. Might be a shorter one this time. We shall see. Instead, I just kind of was like, blue, right, okay. And, you know, that had kind of consequences because I kind of like decorated my house in a blue because I was like, oh, everything has to coordinate, right? In order to look good, things need to coordinate. So I'll have a lot of neutrals. I knew I wasn't that big a fan of grey or beige. I knew that. So I had a lot of neutrals, and what neutrals meant to me was white, brown, black, right? And blue. So I'm like, oh, well, blue includes things like teal and navy as well. So my definition of blue was quite broad. So I decorated my house with blue, and the clothes I wore were all blue, and nail varnish I wore was all blue, and all of this sort of stuff. And I kind of never really felt happy. I never really felt like everything coordinated properly. I never felt like my home coordinated properly. I never really felt like my wardrobe coordinated properly. I never really felt like it was working for me. I didn't really feel like any of it was serving me. And I always used to say, oh, well, I don't like fashion, I don't like clothes and all this sort of stuff, and I hate clothes shopping and all this, and it wasn't the best. And kind of, I ignored that feeling for a long time, and it probably was only during, I snapped my single, we will carry on. It was probably only during COVID, I would say, when lockdown, where well, not all of us, key workers certainly weren't, but a large portion of us, and I was as well, was stuck at home. Well, what I kind of found during that time was I was like, okay, I hate all this. I hate my wardrobe. I hate the way my house looks like kind of jumbly, and it just isn't giving the vibe that I want. And I can't understand why I don't like any of this. Even my yarn stash, I'd look at my yarn stash and I just kind of feel like, none of it speaks to me. So I'm like, do I really enjoy this? Am I really getting clothes intentionally? Am I putting together my wardrobe intentionally? Am I putting together my house intentionally? Am I putting together my yarn stash intentionally? And the answer to all three was no. Because I didn't know what that meant for me. I didn't know what that meant for me. I thought that meant blues and neutrals. No. For me, it just wasn't the case, and I couldn't understand why. Now, I sat down and I asked myself the question, okay, do I actually know what I like? And, you know, I did some Googling and some research and all the rest of it. And, you know, I had a look at colour palettes and silhouette, because kind of the overarching theory, because this was before the days of AI, right? The overarching theory from the internet was that I didn't like my clothes and I didn't like them because it just wasn't my style, right? So style has a factor, but also cohesion has a factor, and cohesion is more than just colour. There's several aspects. When it comes to wardrobe, there's also things like the silhouette and the fit and the cut and the materials. All of these things matter. a great deal. That bit of hair is really annoying me, can you tell? Humidity has destroyed my hair today, absolutely destroyed it. There's no hope. There's no hope. These are daily. What am I going to do? So what I decided was, I'm like, okay, clearly I don't have an answer to these questions because I can't honestly say I actually really like this colour palette. I'd hear some people talk about because Kamari is really popular then. Oh, it sparks joy, and I'm like, I don't feel that way about objects, and I don't feel that way about clothes or my house. It's just kind of like, oh, this functions, you know. None of it was joy. None of it was joy. Does that mean I'm immediately going to get rid of it? No, because I need trousers and shirts and things for work, like practically speaking. So it didn't really make sense. I didn't really connect with the whole Kamari thing because it just didn't work for me. I felt like there was some good ideas and some ideas that just didn't apply to my life. And that's okay because not all of those ideas do apply to my life. And particularly I saw minimalism kind of like take over. And I saw a lot of minimalist fashion and stuff, and I knew very much definitively I did not like that. That was not for me. And I felt like when I looked at these things, the thing that sort of screamed out to me was, it needs colour. Where's the colour? Like repeatedly, I just couldn't look past that. I couldn't look at anything else. All the neutrals and how cohesive and how everything worked together and how amazing these capsule wardrobes were. Because I couldn't look past the fact that they were all neutral. And I understand why that was the case, because it's much easier to match and make a cohesive wardrobe out of neutrals. And that's very much what's in fashion. Even today, I would say neutrals, you know, a neutral only aesthetic is very much in fashion. But I just couldn't connect with it. You know, I'd studied art, I studied photography, so I knew about complementary colours and analogous colours, and I know about hue and saturation and contrast and light and dark and values and all these different things. And just, I couldn't glean anything. I wasn't getting anything from these minimalist looks. So I said to myself, okay, clearly, I like some of the ideas. Some of the ideas make a lot of sense to me, have fewer things, but have everything work together. That I like. I like the idea of having that cohesion. Clearly that's something that's important to me. But I can't connect with the aesthetic. So I'm like, okay, so what is my aesthetic? Because this is around about the time I'd say that a lot of these cores were around the place, right? Like cottage core and oh, I've seen even like goblin core and stuff like that. I've seen all sorts of things. And I looked at these things and I thought, there's elements that I like, but it's not quite connecting. And I don't know why. And I think a large part of that is because I was looking at someone else's aesthetic and trying to apply it to my life, and that probably was never going to work, let's be honest. But then I didn't know what my aesthetic was. I didn't know. I had no idea. So I had a look. I had a look on Pinterest and various other places, and I kind of thought about, what have I seen out and about that I like? What did I like? What didn't I like? What did I enjoy? And, you know, I saw Rachel Maxey's, right? And that like a lot of the cuts weren't things that I was kind of interested in. But the color palette was very much there with a few adjustments and changes. I felt like it was too light and I kind of needed to bring it darker. And I kind of realized that I wasn't that big a fan of white. Like white as an accent, yeah, cool. But then I kind of realized all these years I thought that I needed a white button shirt and I thought I needed like a white t-shirt. When do I wear these things? Never. Never. I don't reach for them because I don't actually like them that much. Because to me, white is much better placed as an accent, not as a main colour. And that very much is a personal thing. And I found that out and I realised, oh, okay, actually, because this is true, clearly I prefer my neutrals to be more like brown and black. Yes. And clearly the autumnal colours are working. Like, repeatedly, I found myself coming back to orange again and again and again and again. And I looked at a red and I thought, just like a like vibrant pop of red against a black. And to me, that was like, oh, yes, so good. And then a green, like it's just a green was just like such a good base to work from. Like green was almost like a neutral in of itself. And then yellow, just like a big pop of like just happy yellow, just every once in a while was just kind of nice. That's very much an autumnal palette. And I didn't really realize that I liked an autumnal palette. So I kind of started dressing that way a little bit. And then last year I was living out of a suitcase for 9 months. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and create a capsule wardrobe here. Try to pack things that all go together from my existing wardrobe. And they're all autumnal colors. And I'm like, okay, let's see how this works over the 9 months. I had like less than 50%. I had maybe like 5% of my wardrobe available to me. I had maybe like 3 pairs of trousers and like 4 tops and like 3 jumpers. You know, I had like hardly any clothes at all. You know, bear in mind I live in a 4-season climate. And yet, I found that I was so much happier. Everything, I could just chuck stuff on and it would work together and it would look really like crisp and really intentional. And I thought that was amazing. And I had so many compliments from people being like, why are you suddenly dressing like really well? You've never dressed this nicely before. What's happened? Have you got a new boyfriend or something? I'm like, no, this has just happened. I got so many compliments. And I even like every time I looked in the mirror, I just felt like so much better. I felt like I looked so much better. And I kind of realized I don't like dressing in blue and neutrals and stuff. I like those more vivid autumnal colors. You know, those really make me feel good. And I kind of realized, like in home decor as well, the things I was drawn to over and over and over again was the wood tones and kind of the more like I wouldn't even say vintage, but I'd say more like classic. But not classic as in the white minimalist sense, but classic as in it doesn't date. You look at it and you're like, that could be from the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s. That could be from any time period. And you wouldn't even bat an eye in it. And that's like solid wood furniture, right? And a lot of my furniture was kind of cheap and old and nasty. So I saved up because wood furniture is expensive. And I also managed to find some absolute bargains from Facebook Marketplace. Really did. And my stepdad found a bit of furniture in a skip and asked the guy if he could have it. Beg, borrow, and steal. And I got like a bunch of wood furniture. This chair is a beautiful wicker chair, absolutely gorgeous. I got it for a tenner from a charity shop. Okay? It's fantastic. I love it. It's the most comfortable chair ever. It's so good. And my dogs agree. My dogs love this chair. My Labrador is like, this is my chair, don't you know? He'll quite often curl up on here and his tail will just be dangling down. And I'm just like, okay, you look really happy. You look like you could be a postcard right now. That's how cozy you are. You could definitely feature you in a postcard and it'd be fantastic. He's having a great time. But again, those are warm colours. Warm colours, kind of more like natural tones, natural textures. I kind of realised as well, because we had like a really hot summer during 2020 as well. And even the year after in 2021, we had a ridiculously hot summer as well. I'd say 2022, I think we had a summer where it just rained all year. But I kind of realized that I was like feeling really uncomfortable and really like, so I kind of was like, okay, I need to dress in like more like breathable, natural fibers. And it's been a bit of a journey. And as I say, I would never judge anyone else for making like different decisions than me. No way. But for me personally, switching over from a wardrobe that was like mostly synthetic to 100% natural fiber to me just made a huge difference to my comfort and just like how I felt about myself, and just particularly in like the hotter weather. it kind of like made me feel so much better because it's felt like, oh, I can actually exist in summer and not feel like a puddle on the floor. I feel so much better. Even if like, I'm still not really one for summer. I'm more of a I much prefer winter. I much prefer the cooler weather. But even then it makes it tolerable. It's just so much better. Like honestly, it's been a game changer. And now it's like my wardrobe's like, I did the stats, but I honestly can't remember. It's like 80% natural fiber now, which is pretty darn good. I haven't been getting rid of all my synthetic stuff all at once. It's been a slow, natural attrition. So I've just been using what I have really, and then slowly buying stuff each year. I said the other day that I've only bought like 3 pieces of clothing this year, and that was true. But then it's my sister's wedding next year, and I kind of panicked a little bit. So I got a dress for my sister's wedding, so that's the 4th thing in terms of clothing. And I bought 3 pairs of shoes. 3. Who am I? I never buy shoes. But that's a problem because I own hardly any. Like genuinely, I find it really hard to find shoes that fit me. So I end up never buying them, which is a real problem because I wear holes in my shoes. And that's kind of, it's not good for your feet, it's not good for your back, it's just, no. It's not good for you, don't do that. Like, shoes and a coat, those are the 2 things you need in your life. Those are the 2 things you should prioritize in your life. They're not the only things you need, but certainly those are 2 things you should prioritize in the UK climate at least. Shoes and a coat. So I bought 3 pairs of shoes because I was like, I don't know what to wear shoe-wise with a dress because I very rarely wear a dress and I don't know what's like socially acceptable and whatnot. I have no idea and I'm panicking. I think it's fine. I bought 3 vaguely neutral heel shoe things that are all leather, and I'm sure one of them will be fine with the dress. I'm pretty confident that all 3 would be fine with the dress, to be clear. As I just kind of panicked a bit. So I'm not going to buy any more shoes for the rest of the year, except maybe a pair of boots. That's probably the one exception I'll make. I heard a noise that really made me jump. I heard this like ding, like something metal. And I'm like, but there's no one else in the house, so I don't know what that was. Anyway, let me carry on. So yes, my point being, and this is a bit of a ramble to get there, I don't really have a favourite colour, but if I had to pick one, probably orange. Orange is like my feature colour in my palette. It's probably orange. I really like orange. A good like burnt orange or something like that. Oh, beautiful. This is a red. Although it's faded a little bit, so it's not quite orange. But I think I'm overheating, and I also think I'm just rambling. I think I've made my point well enough. So I'm just gonna stop there. It's okay. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And that is a wrap. That is the end of the video. And now we come to our last segment, which is the Webring. And the Webring is an old concept that I borrowed from the days of Netscape, very, very early internet. As what people used to do is they used to take links and used to link to other people across the internet, because this was in the days before Google, before algorithms. So what I shall do is I shall link to another channel, usually a smaller creator, so you can go find them. And you can look in the description and you'll find a list of smaller creators, all linked, so you can go around and you can find and discover creators you may or may not have heard of, because they only have 818 subscribers, which is a crime. I say that every single time, but it's true. Honestly, There are so many diamonds out there. Diamonds! This person, diamond. Diamond. Need I say more? This video I found fascinating, and I was just like watching it eating a packet of crisps, like, wow, I wish I could spin like that fine. Like, I spin fine, I don't spin that fine. Meanwhile, this video, I think I mentioned it, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. That I was like, oh, I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling really hard to apply my my yellow merino silk blend. I was finding that really hard, and I was like, how do I do this? What's the proper technique? The applying bracelet looks too hard. It looks so complicated. This was the video I watched. This one. If you are confused by this, and you look at that and think that that's just wizardry, watch that video, and it all will make sense. Stacey, fantastic. Fantastic. Just fantastic. Go watch her, subscribe. Go. Go. This video is over, so go to her channel and fix these numbers. 570 is nothing. Nothing for how good these videos are. This video literally just cleared the air to me. It completely made me understand how to actually spin from a playing bracelet, because I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And it only has 269 views. Why? Go watch her channel. She is amazing. Stacey is amazing. Go. And now, goodbye.